So, hi guys, I'm Sushi,
And I'm Bao.
and this is our first ever podcast. And we don't know if anybody's gonna listen, but we were just having a walk downstairs like a couple of days ago, and we were just listening to ourselves, and we were like, oh, we have such intellectual conversations. Why don't we put it out and start a podcast? So, Bao.
Yeah, because what this world needs is one more podcast with two people just randomly talking about their own views.
And as much as we like, I just thought that we should, why not, me and Bao met in college a year ago, and we've been friends ever since, and we're just doing it for memory, like just for it.
Yeah. In
So
5 years, when we look back, we'll have this podcast to listen to.
and we'll be like, oh, we did a lot of things. So as it is our first podcast, I think we will start from the start, and most people, their start is from school, so I think we should start from there.
Yeah,
What do you
because
think, Bao?
That's when everything started to go downhill too.
I think that's when I realized that there are people outside of your home and you have to deal with them. So we'll start talking about that, I think. Then maybe you'll get an idea about how we are and what we have been through. So personally, Bao, I feel like my childhood has always been like very good, but there were parts which were not so good.
Yeah. I think pretty much the same. Yeah.
So I think till I was in primary, my life was like just like, damn, everything is so good. Everybody is as good as I am. And then secondary happened. And I realized, no, people aren't that nice as you are. And they won't they won't think that you are their friend.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing happened to me, but then I just realized that friends aren't supposed to be like that to you.
I personally think for the longest time in my life, I didn't know what friends are. I always had this perception, maybe this is how it works. Maybe, friends are like different, right? Not every friendship is going to be the same. So maybe friends are just like this until I discovered no.
Yeah, not at that point it was like normal friends. What they do is make fun of you all the time, and they don't actually give you any good thing of substance, and all they do is make fun of you and make fun of you and then make fun of you again.
Like for me, Bao, I personally think that I give so much into those friendships that I as a child, you would think that no child is capable of hurting you that way, but then it turns out they can truly hurt you.
Some children are the spawn of the devil.
So true. Like I remember one of the incidents in my life which was very traumatic. So I was always like, I used to love school, right? Like I used to love school. I always wondered like, when will I go to school? When will I see my friends, right? Because until 5th, I was a very social child. So I was like, oh, I want friends, I want friends, I want friends, I want to go out with friends. And then 6th grade happened. And people just changed. They were not so kind anymore, because obviously there were more kids also, like not the 5th grade friends. And I remember I skipped a few days because I was sick. And then I remember going back to school, and under my desk there was this sheet, okay, and on the sheet somebody drew me like I was a fat baby. I was like a fat baby. So somebody just drew me like a fat ass baby, and it was just like, oh, I hope you don't come to school, it feels like earthquake when you walk. And I was just thinking like, are you for real? Like it's what? It was so traumatic for me.
Oh my god, that is very traumatic.
It was. Then I went back, okay, and that same day, okay, I was walking, right? And I was I was going between two buses, and this one kid just pops his head out, and he's like, what do you eat every day? And I was like, food, hopefully. I think most of my childhood as a fat child, okay, not to gain sympathy or something, but then to
It's okay.
but you get bullied so much. Like, what do I do, bro? Like, I understand that I'm fat. I know I'm not unaware. I'm just fat.
And people just hate you for no reason.
Yeah.
They don't even know you and they just want to hate you.
Like I sometimes I really wish I could go in their heads and I could see, like I could just imagine what is going through you when you call somebody like unprovoked that, oh, you're so fat, you're so, what do you eat, you eat, keep eating. Bro, I wasn't even eating that much, I feel. I started eating more after they said that to
That's
cope
so
up with
real.
it.
And they pretend like, oh, it's to bully you into becoming thin and stuff. And all it does is the opposite. It makes you stress eat more.
Like for real, I was like, I used to, now I watch those reels, okay, that say like, oh, you know, bullying is healthy and healthy bullying. I personally don't believe there's a healthy bullying. I think making somebody aware of the fact that you're fat and you need to work out and for your health is one thing, but telling somebody they should kill themselves and be like, oh, I can't even, like, you know, I opened the comment section but still could see you're fat, that is just sad, bro. That just shows how you think about people.
If it came from a place of genuine kindness, then it wouldn't come out as bullying.
Very true. Like, I understand that you're concerned, but putting the concern, you should know how you should put the concern out, you know, because it shouldn't hurt the person. I've seen, yeah, people do lose weight in the name of, oh, they call me fat, so I became thin.
Like
But
men.
I think their mental health at the same time is deteriorating so much, because imagine you are so fat, then you become thin, right? And people are appreciating you so suddenly. Then it fuels you, but then it also puts you in a state where you have to stay that way, that you have to consistently become thin, you have to consistently eat healthy.
And it's so bad when you lose weight also, because the thing is, to maintain it, you need to have a healthy lifestyle. And usually when you're like bullied and stuff, it's because you like starve yourself, or you go on extreme diets, or you work out for like 6 hours a day, which is insane. And then you won't be able to maintain that.
Yeah, I think when you change, like I lost weight, but I think the way you change should come from self-awareness and thoughtfulness for yourself. It shouldn't come because some random as guy from 6th grade is like, oh, you're so fat, nobody will love you. Like, please, thank you, as if I love myself.
Yeah, that's so real. And it's always the guys who have no right to say that, who always say that.
So true. And I think for me, 6th grade, I thought that, you know, maybe the year is just rigged, you know, maybe next year I'll have a lot of fun. No, turned out no. The people had fun. I didn't. What about you, Bao?
I mean, for me, it was like, I feel like I still don't remember anything. And I feel like everything is like blocked in my mind.
Yeah.
So I don't remember anything. And then, I don't know, I just remember that, you know, what happened was when you go from like 5th grade to 6th grade, right? And you're still a kid and you have all this self-esteem, right? Like a normal kid should have. And then these middle schoolers come in 6th grade and they come with axes and hammers and they hammer down on your self-esteem. And then by the time you go into 7th grade, there's nothing left.
So true, because like I feel like I know humbling down and shit, okay, but I don't think that a 5th standard kid needs humbling down until they are doing something very bad. For me, from 6th grade gave me so much trauma that from 7th grade to like my 10th grade, I feel I was so scared, like just to go to school. And my mother was so concerned because I was a very good kid in academics and everything, right? Like, not to boast, but I used to get decent grades and I was doing well. See, I wasn't eating too much. I was just a kid, right? So I didn't think that baby fat would make somebody bully me. So I was just a happy kid eating food. So I never thought that I used to do sports. It was not like I wasn't doing anything, you know. I was healthy. I was just a little overweight. And yeah, my parents were like, you know, you need to lose weight. But that is concern. That is concern for your health. But telling somebody that they shouldn't come to school because you think when they walk, it's like earthquake, that's just sad, bro. That shows your kind of upbringing, that, you know, you have been taught that way, that fat people are just ugly. I don't think so. Like, I've been dealing with the thing that people come to me and they show me the sympathy that, oh, you're not ugly, you're just fat, you know, you're just fat, and you lose it and you'll be pretty. But can't I be pretty like that? Like, okay, like I don't know. And then for me, I went into seventh grade. Okay, and suddenly everything just got worse. Like I just thought it'll get better, but it got worse. Now I didn't want it to go to school, and my mother was like, "Why aren't you going to school?" And I was like still my academics weren't that bad, so I think I got a getaway for that. Like they were like, at least she's studying, which is kind of sad. But then I just stopped going to school, and then my academics, like, started getting affected. And they're so concerned, bro, so concerned. I remember like just trying to study, but I don't know what's gonna come because I didn't go to school. It was just sad, bro. Have you ever missed classes because of bullying?
No, I mean, I think I had perfect attendance all throughout school because, I was kind of insane like that.
I was just not built that way, bro. I was like, I think mentally I'm somebody who I need to take myself out of that situation to not think about it. Otherwise, it will put me in a state where I'm just not good. And as a kid, I didn't know like the concept of mental health because obviously I thought that everything is just so happy. And I thought that once I'll start my secondary, everything will get even better. But turned out no.
I mean, like, my brain didn't think that much, right? So for me, it never occurred to me that I could just leave school and then not go sometimes. So, and like, I never used to fall sick either, right? So I always thought the only reason you would miss school is if you fall sick or if you had to go somewhere. And that never happened to me. So I used to go every day. And that made it a living hell. And all it made me was sit in the corner and read my little books while eating lunch.
Like, I remember, okay, I was trying to make friends so bad. And I used to sit and I used to be like, oh, like, I wish there was a me, like, there was just someone just like me. And I could be friends with them. And now I look back, right? And I was like, I really cannot imagine there was like no kindness. Like maybe some people were going through same things and maybe they wanted somebody to come up to them. But then again, like as a kid, you just need someone to, be your friend, very honestly. Like I didn't know what's mental health, but I wanted a friend. Like that's the basic. But then for me, I think that in 10th grade, it hit me that not everybody is going to be as kind as you, like not everybody is going to treat you as good as you treat them. And I am so, it's kind of shameful. But then I was like, oh, you're going to call me names? I'm going to fight you back. And then I was like, you just dare to say I'm fat. I'll also say something back. And I've been very proud that I've never talked about how they looked, like I never talked about how their appearance is, but their personality as a kid, to say that about me. I remember that it was my first moment that I took a stand for myself was in 10th grade when I had, those PT classes where they used to make you run and they used to record how many seconds you take. Okay. And I couldn't, they were laughing at the way I was like, running, right? Because oh my god, a fat kid can run, wow. So I remember a few guys were laughing and they were like, a very awkward thing just has happened right now.
We won't talk about it.
You all will never know what happened.
Yeah, we're moving on.
But yeah. So they were like, oh my god, Sushi can run. Now you'll know what happened. So, and I just went and I was like, what do you mean? Like, can't I run? Like, what do you mean? Just say it on my face. And they were, for the first time, they didn't say anything. Because they were like, oh, she can talk. Like, obviously I can talk. I think that was the point where I started talking and taking stand, I did lose a lot of weight in 11th because for my health. Again, I lost weight. I think I've been very mentally strong because of my mother, I feel. Because when you get love from at least your family, you are strong enough, You're like, oh, there are people who love me. Even though there are people who wouldn't want me to come back to school, but yeah. And I feel that was the time when I lost a lot of weight and for my health. And I suddenly noticed these people started liking me. And it was such a what the hell moment for me. Because I was like, aren't you telling me to kill myself like a year ago? And then I was like, damn. But but that made me just realize they are just shitty enough to just go on my parents for now.
Yeah. I think that's where I went wrong, because I never told my parents and I never showed it either. So it kind of was very isolating because it kind of felt like I was the only person going through what I was going through. Yeah. And it was kind of insane because I couldn't talk to anyone else about it. And then that was a very horrible
I feel
feeling.
like helplessness brings loneliness too.
Yeah.
Because you start feeling that maybe you are just that way,
Yeah.
For me personally, my parents like very like touchwood moment, but my parents give a lot of priority to mental health, so they were always very concerned if I'm doing mentally okay too. So I think I remember that in 10th grade only, at the end of it, my 11th grade was just about to start, my mother just came up to me and she's like, oh, how are you doing, blah blah. And I just started crying because it got so much, like it got to me like a lot. And I just told her, like this, that. And I've been always the one of those kids who, like, touch wood, I always had a very good relationship with my mother. So I could always tell her, oh, those people bullied me. Oh, they called me these names. And I have a elder sister. So I think that's just, cherry on top. She has been always there for me. She's like a lot older than me. So I used to feel like she wouldn't ever relate. But then as time passed, I felt like I could talk to her more. So I realized I've been one of, like, I feel I could talk to them was the only reason that I didn't give up on myself.
Yeah, that is very real. I wish I had the courage to go tell my family that this was happening to me. And like the only time I remember something like this happened was when I went to like a doctor's appointment, right? And so that doctor, such a yapper, and he just kept on talking, okay? And this was, I think, when I was in 7th grade or something, and he was telling me how I need to lose weight. And then he started talking about something, and he started telling my mother, you should go easy on her and stuff. You don't know how horrible kids are in this unnamed metropolitan city. That you don't know how horrible these kids are. I've seen what they can do. And these kids, they never tell you what they're going through either. And then I think that car ride back home was the only time I saw, at least at that point in time, that I saw my mother have genuine tears in her eyes. And she just kept asking me, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? If anything is happening, please tell me right now. And I still never told her.
I just remember, like, it was like 7th or 8th grade for me, and I had skipped school 4 days in a row. And my dadi, like my grandmother, just came to me and she sat, right? And she was a teacher, so yeah, she just sat and she's like, is something troubling you? Like, is someone troubling you back at school? Is something happening? And I couldn't just, like, I was just looking at her, and one part of me was just like, how do you know? Like, are you, like, what magic do you have? And I feel it was 8th grade when I sat down and I told my mother, like, there is bullying, like, people are bullying me, and that's the reason I don't want to go to school, and I want to do bad things to myself, and it's just sad. And as scared as I was to open up to my mother, because I was so scared, the reaction she gave me made me realize that she's the best mother that I could ever have. Because she just said that, just come to me. You could have, said that to me so long ago. Why didn't you come to me? And it made me realize that I'm not unloved. I'm just unheard.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't talk about it, so nobody will know. And then eventually I started talking. I think in my whatever journey of, get healing from the bullying and, growing up, I feel my mother has supported me a lot. And as much as people are like, like, childhood bullying isn't that bad, it is very bad. One of the horrible, like, most horrible moments of my life was eating cake. And I don't think I should say this. I'll just not. I'll start crying, okay? But it made me realize that I am so lonely. So I just feel like, maybe you're not just maybe you're just not unloved, you're just unheard. That you just need to talk about it with someone who will love you and make you realize that they are just horrible people. You are just not a horrible person, you know.
Yeah, that is very real. If I had someone like that to tell me that, then I think I'd be in a much better place right now.
Like, I feel like I have healed a lot from whatever has happened in my childhood. But when I look back, right, I feel like as a kid, I shouldn't have had to go through so much, you know. I should have just had a very decent childhood. But then again, I feel like if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be a person like I am today. I'm not saying I would be a very, you know, rude bully kind of person, but I wouldn't be as kind and as understanding as,
Your
you know, now.
experiences do shape you a lot.
I agree with Bao so much right now because we are seniors, okay? Like, we are seniors now, okay? And when we first came to our
Not
college,
senior as in elderly people, seniors in
no, we are just seniors in college now. So I remember when we first came to college, we didn't have a very good experience with our seniors, okay? Like, I'm not saying bullying, but I'm just saying not a very decent, nice, you know, conversation and thing. So when we had a juniors, we made a thing, okay? Like, we sat down and we were like, we'll be the seniors we never had, you know. And I feel like the kindness, the understanding comes from experiences that you go through. What you sometimes I feel like when you get bullied, you either turn into a bully or just you understand the people getting bullied. So it depends on you how you shape yourself.
Yeah, that is very real. I've become both, as I can say that. I've become the bully and then I became the opposite of that.
No, guys, she didn't actually bully someone, but she just, you know,
Yeah.
like very mild.
Yeah, like at one point in my life, right, up until 5th grade, all the friends I had, like other than like one or two used to bully me. And like bully me as in like they used to make fun of me a lot and stuff. And like, but make not in the fun light way, but you could hear the contempt in their voice, you know. And like, so in my head, in my 10-year-old mind, that was just how people talk to each other. And so I used to bully. So I used to say the same. Like I used to say mean things too to
It's
people.
basically like if you're taught to talk this way, you know, you'll talk back in the same way.
Exactly.
It's like if I'm talking to you in a harsh way, you'll just think that's the way you talk.
Yeah.
And then you talk back in that way. So it wasn't actual bullying. She just means to say that she thought that that's how people behave with each other. But then she realized that no, this is not me. This is not how you do it. That's hurting someone. And I feel the realization that comes with it only comes when you go through it.
Yeah.
And I am older than her.
By a lot. It's 20 years.
Yeah. I am like 80 and she's like,
I'm 20.
yeah. So, but when like she's sitting right beside me as I say this, and I know she's looking at me right now. But when I hear things from her childhood and how she is now, I feel like Bao is like Bao wouldn't be Bao if Bao didn't bow.
If Bao didn't bow the way Bao did.
Yeah. Like whatever she went through, a major part of me wants to just go back and just hug her and be like, no, you know, you shouldn't be going through this. You deserve so much as a kid, you know, and every kid does. But when I look at her now and I see her, you know, so kind and so generous, I feel very proud of her that she took that in a way that's wrong, that she realized. And now when I see her being so kind and being so nice, I just feel like, you know, very proud of her. I think this is the first time.
This took such a deep, unexpected turn out of nowhere.
Like, she's sitting right beside me. I think we are gonna cry. But I generally think that whenever I see people also like we have other friends. Wow. They're two other people that we are friends with. But when I see them, they also got bullied. But surprise. But when I see them, right, I feel very proud of us. Like whatever we are today, at least we're not sitting behind a phone and telling people that, oh, you're so fat.
That they should kill themselves.
Yeah, that is just extreme, bro. That's just extreme. I don't know. I'm a yapper, okay, if y'all. That's not already very obvious.
Past 30 minutes.
But I really think that I have been this way since I was a kid, right? But I'm remember from a majority, like a major years of my life, from like 7th grade to 10th grade, I just became so silent. I couldn't talk because nobody was there to listen. I think I used to be like, oh, I wish I was like thinner so people would, be friends with me. And I think that's just so sad. Like, that's just so sad that you need to be in a certain way for people to like you.
I became a people pleaser because I thought that if I went against them even in one small kind of way, then they'll be like, oh, I don't want to be friends with someone who's so ugly and I'm going to leave you forever and you're going to be a loser.
Like, I remember, like, there was this girl, okay? There was this girl, and in 8th grade or 9th grade or 10th grade, you will never know. But there was this girl, and I really, really, really took her as my best friend. And I remember, okay, I liked this guy. He was a very popular guy from a school, and I really liked this guy, okay? And she was my best friend, and she was very good friends with that guy, and I was just telling her that I like him, blah blah blah. Years later, that guy became my friend. And then he was like, oh, a very embarrassing thing. I'm like, what? He's like, you liked me, right? And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, this girl told me this. And I was like, what? And I looked back and I was like, nobody was really my friend.
Yeah. Oh my god.
The realization that hits you that they were not your friend, I think that's the major plot twist in your life, bro.
Oh my god, so real. This is me when I realized that your actual friends aren't supposed to sit and not do anything when other people are bullying you.
I remember, like, I sit back, right, and it feels like I'm Sherlock Holmes, like plotting, like putting pieces together, like she said this, so she never meant this, so we were never friends. Damn. Then I realized nobody was actually my friend, and kind of gets sad.
Yeah, that gets sad, and it kind of affects the friendships you have in the future.
For me, I think, like, not even today, right? I sometimes feel like the way that I am, that I am a person who, when I love you, right? When I love you, I will make it a point that I show you that I love you in any way. Like, it'll be in an action, it'll be a letter, and Bao is putting Vaseline on me.
Because you scratched your forehead even though you're not supposed to.
This is TMI, guys. I don't know if you all would like to hear this. We'll see if we cut this out. And then I remember, like, I forgot the conversation I was having.
Even I forgot.
Bao made me forget what I was talking about. But I feel like, you should just be you. I feel like when you stop thinking about what others will feel and say about you, is when you start loving yourself a little.
Yeah. And like, one thing for me is, like, at least to accept myself is, like, you try to put on this, like, character for people outside, and then without realizing it, you also do it when you're alone in your own room. And like, I think the first time I ever broke out of that was when I was like, no, I can be as weird as I want in my room. At least here no one's there to judge me. And then slowly it just sleeps into everything, and you're like, no, actually I can be who I am. It's okay. Not everyone is horrible.
Very true. Like, as a kid, I never thought that I'll reach I'll ever be able to be myself. I'll ever be able to just talk non-stop and people will listen. But I feel like when I stopped giving a damn about what others will feel, and I should just talk, and even if I'm weird and annoying, I'm just that way. If somebody isn't like able to accept me for me, then they aren't there for me. They're just there for what I am willing to give them. I feel most of the friendships that I have had in the childhood were because I was ready to do everything for them, not because they were ready to give me a friendship.
Yeah, that is very true. And like, the thing is, and like, you also kind of just, before, when you don't love yourself, you accept any kind of interaction anyone gives you, even if it's the worst thing
Very true.
known to humankind.
It's like, oh, at least they're talking to me. Which is so sad, bro. Which is so sad. Also, they are not your friends if they stalk your musically and TikTok account that you made in a very in a fun way and take screenshots and send it to your friends, and yeah, they are not your friends, guys.
Yeah, they are not your friends.
She never had a TikTok account. I don't know why she's agreeing to that.
No, I'm saying it for you.
Oh, damn. See what kind of friend I have. Damn.
You from 6 years ago.
Oh my god, yes. I still remember. I don't know, okay, guys. I don't know if this is. I see. We can't sit and have deep conversations for too long, so I think it's time that I drop this. She doesn't know the Ola Como Stars musically. She has no idea about that song. How?
I didn't use the internet at that time.
See, she says things like that, and I feel like I'm like 100 years old. I really want to know if ever anybody ever listens to this. I really want to know if you know the Ola Como Star. My excuse my saying.
Wow.
Yes, that song, because I remember making so many musicals on it, and yeah.
Yeah, I also definitely remember that.
I don't know what she remembers, but sure. So I think it has been a long time since we're talking, and I think this will be it, and it is our first podcast. We have no idea if somebody's ever going to listen to this, or we'll ever look back and listen to this.
At least if someone will listen to the whole thing, I don't think.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be in 2 minutes in, and they'll be like, "What weird two people these are? What do you mean sushi and bao?"
Maybe one day when there's a nuclear explosion and we're all dead, and the only thing is the infrared rays that are going into space, and some alien finds us, and the only thing left of humanity is the shred of this podcast.
I have no words for bow here. Bow is just bowing, I think. But we are just there. I think we'll upload a podcast every.
No, that's not certain.
Okay, we're not gonna set a schedule. We'll just upload whenever we feel like
We're
it.
busy people. Very
we
busy.
are so busy. We are very busy, guys. I'm so sorry. But if somebody ever listens to this, this is our carbon footprint. Is that called carbon? Digital.
Carbon footprint.
It's a digital footprint.
We're emitting like 26 tons of carbon into the atmosphere as we're doing this right now.
We are. This is our digital footprint, but I and her Bao wanted to be a good one, hopefully. So if anybody ever listens to this, I hope if you're going through something, you have the courage to talk about it and get over it. You never really get over it, but then I hope that whoever listens to this understands that they are enough. They'll always be enough. If you truly want to lose weight, please make it a point that it is because of your health, and it's not because somebody thinks that you're too fat.
Please do it in a healthy way. Don't
Starve
eat
yourself.
Yeah, don't eat like one chapati or something a day. That's insane.
Or one bread if you're American. If somebody ever from America wants to listen to whatever yapping we have done, and just keep eating sushi and baos and have fun in your life. One day, a few years later, you'll realize that there's much more to life than what it is now. So on a very deep note,
you never know what's waiting for you.
What if you get married to a billionaire?
Stop projecting your fantasy.
Also, guys, I read a lot of novels, and so does she. So if anybody listens to this, maybe our next podcast will be on that. Bye bye, guys. Have fun.
Bye.